think it's brought to us by the largeness of our brains that didn't develop for this reason. It's a spandrel, as they say, of evolution. The big brain, the cognitive niche that we fill, the fact that we can step outside our lives and look at our lives. That's the whole sense of the absurdity that the existentialists wax so eloquent about when they say, "What am I doing here? Do I have any purpose? Is there any meaning? Do I really matter? And what can I do to make myself matter?" Am I like a dog chasing its own tail here? I mean, is life really just absurd? We have a tremendous longing that our life not be absurd. I think that the will to matter, the desire to matter, the instinct for mattering is at the heart of so much human behavior, so much that is most laudable about us, as well as at the heart of so much that is most frightening, atrocious, terrifying about us. And I believe that people in general, as soon as the basic survival needs have been met for themselves and the ones they love, want to believe that their lives matter. They pursue their lives as if they matter. They care about their lives. And they come up with these various theories as to why they matter. And these are the kinds of views that help shape their lives, their goals, their projects. And you know, the notion of mattering is intimately linked with the notion of attention. It's not surprising that many people try to derive their sense of mattering by acquiring a great deal of attention, even from perfect strangers. I call this the mattering instinct. And I believe that it's this that leads to religions and to various ideologies, to people even willing to give up their lives if they believe that's what's going to make them matter. But it also leads to our endeavors in science and art and social activism. And so I'm thinking about this mattering instinct and the ways that it works for us, as well as the ways that it works against us, the ways it can be dangerous. And I think that a lot of moral questions can be answered in terms of mattering theory. But before going any further, let's pause for a moment to consider the beguiling polysemy, the coexistence of multiple possible meanings, compressed within the word matter. As a noun, matter signifies the stuff that composes all the things out there in the world. Sticks and stones, brains and vats, moons and cream cheese. The concept of matter is kind of a placeholder for what that stuff is like. And it's the science of physics that tells us what that stuff is like. Its subatomic structure, convertibility into energy, and the like. Whatever its details, matter is, by definition, quintessentially objective, meaning that it exists independent of perception. If you doubt whether a tree falling in the forest makes a sound when there's nobody there to hear it, then you doubt the existence of matter. But when we transition to the verb to matter, we are smack within the human perspective, drawing distinctions regarding what and whom we ought to care about. That's what the verb signifies. And it's applied to both things and people. To say that something or someone matters is to say that we ought to care about them. And when you assert your own mattering, you're asserting that your existence presents circumstances that ought to motivate an attitude of appropriate attentiveness on the part of others. Thank you. We can't help feeling both that we categorically matter and, at the same time, feel compelled to demonstrate that we matter. This compulsion and the choices that we make responding to it are what individually define us. Our striving to matter somehow or other is common to us all. It's in that somehow or other that we differ so drastically as to often amuse, amaze, baffle, or sometimes horrify one another. Just as the language instinct generates the great diversity of languages in the world, so too the mattering instinct generates all the passions and projects to which people dedicate their lives. George Eliot, Albert Einstein, Eleanor Roosevelt, and, I dare say, even Donald J. Trump. Yes, the very best of our species and the very worst can be found in the diversity of responses to the mattering instinct. Which means that, yes, not all ways of responding are equally good, neither psychologically in terms of the sense of happiness and well-being they provide, nor ethically. I mean, if I feel that the only way for me to categorically demonstrate that I matter is to invade Poland, well then, And so we see these various projects, and that's where the great diversity among us enters in. Diversity that often causes a great deal of hostility among us, because there's so much riding on it, so much emotional intensity is riding on it. These projects that we form, whether secular or religious, intellectual or artistic, or simply the devotion to the people that we love, whatever it is, these all have a justificatory role to play in our lives, which are ultimately all revolving around trying to demonstrate that we matter. And so, you see, we can't pursue our lives without thinking that our lives matter. In fact, it is inconceivable to pursue a human life without assuming that your life matters, at least to some extent. The entire repertoire of our emotions is the means that natural selection has given us in order to monitor how our lives are going. Emotions such as, thank you, happiness, sorrow, hope, frustration, disappointment, gratification, fear, embarrassment, pride, shame, remorse,